Since fentanyl's rise in the 90s, it's been spreading across the United States. We're going to talk about its impact in the West. In entertainment, we're going to be talking about the cultural impact of Austin Powers. You got questions?
You're feeling grounded. Oh, behave.
Yeah, baby. How about now?
$1 million.
Welcome to Feeling Grounded with your hosts, Josh and Joe.
How you doing, Joe? How's life?
Man,
How was your break week?
my break week, it was pretty event-filled. I just spent the time, playing guitar, hanging out with family and friends. Spent a lot of time up in the Northeast with a few friends from college, and that was definitely needed. Right now, I've just been playing guitar, eating some food. I'll spend some time with family a little bit tomorrow before going back to regular old life.
Nice. Well, there you go. That's a good spring break. Were you able to spend time outside at all? I know we mentioned last time about hiking. Were you able to hike? Did you go to parks or were you go for walks? Or
I
anything?
was able to hike per se some city streets.
Hey, it works.
They were kind of hilly, but no, it was kind of rainy where I was, so I wasn't able to make that trek, though I would have liked to.
Right. Yeah, I guess it rained here too a lot this past week, so I feel you.
But anyway, how's your week going?
It's just pretty long. A lot of it, I'll talk about it during the crappy, but it was a long week. A lot of work, a lot of music and events and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But not too bad. I will say again, I'm in the closet like I was last week, and the internet.
He's refurbishing it.
Exactly. There we go. The internet's just atrocious. Now this is just a momentary thing. Once we move into our new home, I'll have my studio back and better music, sound equipment, and a better space. A better space.
Battle with the kettle.
Better with the kettle. And my lighting, I have this like heavenly glow that's gracing my face, so I look like I'm shiny.
Half of my face, it feels like it's in shadow, so it's like I'm Two-Face right now.
Yeah. It reminds me of the scene from The Force Awakens or Return of the Jedi. Sorry.
Yeah, miss me with that Force Awakens crap.
Return of the Jedi with Luke.
Oh, that's probably the best cinematography I've ever seen.
Oh, it was very good.
So simple.
Can we just talk about that for a second? How good that is.
How good what is?
The cinematography and just those films. That's amazing.
Yeah, I did.
For the time period.
I told a whole seminar about, the cinematography of those films.
That's right. So which one's your favorite of the original three? Was it Return or is it The Empire? Oh,
without question, Empire.
Yeah, I feel
when I was a kid, it was Return of the Jedi, but for more it was a more kid-friendly movie, so I had a little bit more of a bias towards that. I didn't even like the Ewoks that much. I think I don't know, seeing Luke's story come to a conclusion. He's my hero.
Yeah, the whole arc was completed. Yeah, no, I love that too. I was the same way. I love Return of the Jedi, and then as I got older, I realized how awesome The Empire Strikes Back is.
Mm-hmm.
We actually, Claire and I, over quarantine, we did the whole Marvel MCU, and then we did Star Wars. So we started in chronological.
Watched them all. Okay.
Yeah, we watched them all. So we didn't end up watching all of Return of the Jedi, so we have to watch the rest of that still. But we watched, we started with Phantom Menace and went all the way through. It's just interesting because I forgot how bad the Attack of the Clones. I forgot how bad that one is.
We watched that with with Claire's mom, right?
Yeah.
And you and I just shared memes of the whole movie without watching the movie.
How many times we did? I don't like sand.
Good call, my young Padawan.
I hate when he does that.
Where are you going, master? For a drink. I saw this one YTP. It said on the title, Obi-Wan has a drinking problem. And it said, I didn't watch the video, but I know they're going to include for a drink.
Yeah.
There's also
I love those. Oh my
there's
gosh.
another YTP where the guy who said, "You want to buy some death sticks?" And Obi-Wan says, "Oh, yes." I love
silly.
alternate universe Obi-Wan.
Yeah. So recently, I've been kind of shocked by. I deleted my channel on YouTube like gosh, like maybe a year or two ago, just because I was like just kind of fed up with the world. But then I kind of been using it again
Mhm.
because for Lent I kind of got rid of it. But I was like so shocked at like the recommended now, because before it was like you just like watch silly whatevers and hear famous things and talk shows and whatever. But like now all I get are like the YTP stuff. Like it's just like these like these 15-second clips that are just like ridiculous, and I love it. I love it.
The ones that I recommend the most, and I'm sure that since the next Spider-Man and we see Tobey Maguire come out, the YTPs of Spider-Man, they have
Yeah.
like full 12-minute, even to like 50-minute YTPs of that. And 50-minute, 45 minutes, it's classified as a movie.
Yeah. I love the Toby and the MCUs. Have you seen those ones?
Oh, of course. That is
Yeah,
something
I think you sent me one of those.
love
Oh,
to react to that.
the best. They're so good.
I missed
Yeah.
the part where that's my problem.
What's the line where like it's a crazy old woman? Like I had to beat a crazy old woman with a
Oh,
stick.
I had to beat an old lady with a stick to get this cranberry sauce.
That's right.
You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door.
Yeah, we should react to those for one of these episodes.
Oh, I'm a fan. Let's
I
do it.
love it. Yeah. Definitely.
The best thing in the entire world, and I want to make this my ringtone, is J. Jonah Jameson and his like high-pitched laugh.
Yes.
You serious? Pay you for what? Standing there? Oh, wait, you're on fire. Come here. I need you.
He's the best. I love it. Love it. So Joe, how's your health, man? Like how are you holding up with your personhood?
I have a scale.
Okay. Okay.
That I hook up to an app free on my phone. And I monitor my weight, even though I have no reason to do that at all. It checks your water weight, it checks your
Wow.
body fat percentage, muscle mass, and like seeing it fluctuate ever since like the holidays. Even though I regularly work out, because I'm a lean guy,
Yeah.
but health has been good.
That's good.
But as of like this week, it like went down like a few pounds, and I'm just like, what did I change?
Mm.
I don't think I changed much. Maybe the
Did
travel.
the travel? Maybe did you drink? Did you not drink enough? 'Cause that could be a thing too.
It could have been. It could have been the water intake. I've had a little bit less in this week than I normally have with my gallon bottle
Right.
on the regular.
Yeah, I feel that. So I'm trying this new thing. So I did over quarantine. Something that really worked for me that I liked a lot was this. It was through that online site called Beachbody, and they have a program that I really like called Body Beast.
I live on Beachbody, Josh.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah, so they have the Body Beast one that I did the whole, well, pretty much the whole program up until when Claire went in the hospital in July. So I did it like April, May, or May and June, and I really liked it. It had like the diet and all the foods that you're supposed to eat, and then the workouts every day. And it was great. It was really good. I saw some changes, but then everything happened with Claire, and then I kind of put on a bunch of weight again. So then the goal is tomorrow. I'm starting fresh, and I'm going to do it at the Warner's house the best that I can. I'm going to just focus more on the diet stuff than the workout for now.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you can keep me accountable to that, that'd be cool.
I very much could. I love Beachbody. I have done Insanity. I've done P90X, so that's my favorite. And
nice.
I found and put on my Gmail P90X3, which are only half-hour workouts, but just as intense, supposedly.
Nice.
But it's good to wake up in the morning and only have to do a half-hour workout.
Yeah. Yeah. So is that like your time? You like to do it first thing in the morning? Is that how you
I prefer to now, so I don't have to do it when I'm coming home from work. I can just
Yeah, I feel you. So what I would do is I would always work out during Eli's nap, because this was the time when Claire and I were both home. And so that's why it's tricky. Like going back to work, it's like, well, I can either do it the first moment I wake up, which is like 6 o'clock though,
Mhm.
and I never really like to work out in the morning. So then I would try to do it when I get home, but then I'm not always home at the same time. So like the routine's gone. Like the best thing that ever worked for me was when I was working at Guitar Center and I would work
Mhm.
until 3. And then after 3 o'clock, I'd go straight to the gym and I would do my intense workout and then go home. And that was just a
Mhm.
regular thing.
Yeah.
Then, after kids came, it was like, you
Yeah.
can't really do that so much anymore.
Yeah. Exactly.
Tough to keep with that routine.
How long would those would the kids nap? Because I'm sure they have on and off
Yeah,
like
it
sleep
just
cycles.
depends on what their sleep was the night before and like how they're feeling and how late they go. So
Mhm.
some like normally it's like a half an hour, 45 minutes, but the longest they'll go is like 3 hours sometimes. So it's
Yeah.
always just like a matter of, how they're feeling. And
I will send you like to share the P90X the half hour. That's it.
yeah, I did the original P90X a little bit, but I found that some of that cardio I didn't really like too much. But
Yeah. Plyometrics, it ain't for everybody.
yeah. And
I for one love it.
yeah. It's just not really for my body type. I'm like this kind of bigger guy, so I don't move very very well.
Yeah, for sure. I for one in that program, I don't like um the one on Saturdays. If you do it like Monday
Yeah,
through Wednesday, it's Kenpo karate.
Kempo. Yeah, I was the same way. I did not like that one.
You know what I did? I actually ranked all of the P90X cast members
Oh, really?
by who I like the most and who I like the least.
Wow.
All 22 members of them, and I showed it to my family because we've all done it together. But it's a pretty good list.
Nice. That's great.
Yeah,
That's so great. Yeah, I love the Tony Horton or whatever is that his name?
I met him. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah, my he was doing a thing at like some university. They were doing it for free. And I explained to him like I was my athletic team. This was in high school. I was like I do P90X with them. I kind of lead the workouts, and I wanted to let you know that like you're an inspiration to me. And he signed my shirt.
Oh, wow.
And I did a workout with him and my family and a bunch of other people at that university. At the very end of the cardio workout, we like did the two hand high five.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it was such an experience.
Oh,
I'll have to find that photo.
yeah, that's so cool, Joe. I didn't know that. So
My
he started. Go ahead.
my sister had an insanity shirt, and he was like you better not wear that. No, he didn't care. He didn't care.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. Yeah. So didn't he start off as a comedian first?
No, he started off in porn.
Really? I didn't know that.
I think so. Some adult movies. That's what I heard.
Well, that took a shift. I thought he was like a comedian or something.
He has the comedic timing, and then what he and then he did a bunch of Beachbody stuff like Power 90, P90X, P90X2. I'm not as much of a fan as P90X2, but like I never gave it enough of a chance.
Sure.
He broke away from Beachbody now. I like to follow his YouTube channel.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But he's doing this thing called the Power of 4.
Mhm.
But he's in the beta right now, and he actually said you can have these workouts that are in the beta for, but like it's like some subscription thing abnormally priced, and I'm like, dude, if it's only in the beta right now, why would
Yeah,
you?
why would you do that?
Why would you want to pay that?
That's
I would
true.
want it to be like scientifically accurate based on test subjects, like
Yeah,
P90X.
yeah, man, definitely.
But I think he broke away from Beachbody because he wanted to do his own thing, which is respectable.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Cool, man. All right, well, good to know. What are you drinking, Joe?
I have, and I'm not too much of a fan of it. I've got this thing called mushroom coffee.
Mushroom coffee.
Yeah. I got it from the Vitamin Shop or GNC, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
They since I didn't know what I was getting, they have them in like sold in little packets or like the big boxes. And I said, what if I'm not gonna like it? So I just got like the little packets, you pour it in, and then like you stir it around after you get your hot water and such. It's okay. It's okay. It's just it has a little bit of mushroom, and I'm not gonna get it again.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a big mushroom guy. I couldn't imagine that'd be very good. So is it
I
just
like
like dried up mushrooms or
no,
that you just
it's I don't think it's mushroom. I can take a look at the recipe. right now. You want me to go get it?
Yeah, let me see. I'm curious
I
about
mean,
this.
it's only like subtle mushroom, you know?
Subtle mushroom. So it's not like actual pouring mushroom into it.
So the ingredients, if I'm taking a look right here, it says organic instant coffee powder, of course.
Oh, so it's coffee. Okay.
Organic lion's mane extract,
Mm,
250 milligrams. Organic chaga extract,
mm.
organic rosea extract. No mention of mushroom, but I think that's actually kind of goes without saying.
Okay. Well, I hear mushroom coffee, and that's my first thought. It's like you're putting mushrooms in hot water.
No, no, no. Yeah, but I'm
Yeah,
one of
I
the
don't know, anything about like that kind of healthy food and
I'm
drink.
one of
So
those people who also enjoys having mushrooms most of the time when it's dinner time, and not
not to relax in the evening when you're and sip it in hot water.
nope, not for my beverage.
Nice. All right, Joe. Well, I guess we can move on from here. Talking about health and mushroom drinking, and
All right.
I forgot to mention though, last thing, I'm drinking a Voodoo Ranger IPA. I love this company.
I've never
Um,
heard.
it's like my favorite. It's in New Belgium. It's my favorite beer.
Hmm,
Voodoo Ranger is very good.
I like it.
We'll get it sometime.
It's time for Happy Crappy.
So you want to start with crappy or happy?
It's up to you.
Well, I will probably go with happy first. Let's go on that trend again. So
Okay.
my happy was I spent time going out with a few friends, in the Northeast from college. Spent some time at their apartment. Saw some live music, and I actually, in my time with these girlfriends, I what did I say? It really summed up the weekend because it was the first time actually going to see people other than family and
Mhm.
staying over since 2019. What did I say? Okay. I said, while we were like walking down the street, I said, yeah, we're living like it's 2019. And they like just like died laughing because it's true.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been a void of time like ever since December of 2020. Or sorry,
Yeah,
December of 2019 I meant.
yeah. I'd like to like look back at this time and just see like an empty space, and like not think about it. Like
Mhm.
it just didn't exist. Once we go back to normal, which
Well,
it's
for
get
the
basically
past year,
normal.
it's felt almost like it's only been like 3 months.
Well, well, and at the same time, you could say this at the flip too, that it feels like an eternity. But either way, I can see it both ways.
All right, give me a happy.
Oh boy. All right. So my happy, the past 2 days, I had a lot of like good time with my 2-year-old Eli. It was
Mhm.
great. I before going to work, I worked a little bit later yesterday and today. And so because of that, I spent like 2, 3 hours just me and my son, which was awesome. Just playing
Son.
Legos and
Ooh.
watching Winnie the Pooh and just being cute. And it's great. It was a good time.
What's his favorite toy these days?
He loves construction equipment. His big thing is dump trucks and backhoes, and he has all these like this massive dump truck that he puts everything in and dumps it, and then he likes to take it outside and throw dirt in it.
Mm.
Um, he likes to sit in it and push himself around. Like he's just the best. So yeah,
Does he like
loves the
to
construction toys.
like to hammer things?
Yeah, yeah, likes to hammer things. He's got a drill, and he also likes lawn care equipment too. So he has like a toy leaf blower and a lawn mower and a weed whacker, and he loves all those things.
Can probably have him mow the lawn then. It
Yeah,
doesn't really take too
exactly.
long.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he's got his own landscaping business already. He's not even 3 yet.
Babyscaping.
Yeah, exactly. Babyscaping.
The baby's escaping.
Nice.
Also made that up. Patent pending.
an escape room just for babies.
We do landscaping and we do escape rooms.
What? We travel to your locale. We will do the lawn, and then we will make you do an escape room with our.
With a bouncy house.
Yeah, there you go. Wow, this is a thing. This is a thing. I like this. This creative energy.
If you could call it that.
Oh man, good stuff. All right, so what about crappy? Do you want me to go first? I can go first if you'd like.
Yes, I would love that. I would love that.
All right, so I had a really long week. I worked all week, every day. Normally I don't work every day, but this week was tough. I had retreats in the evening, so I would teach. Then after that, I would have 2 retreats back to back from 5 to 9, and I did that 3 days. And then the other days I had Claire and I did some music at a couple places in the evenings. So I've had a lot of late nights and a lot of working, and I'm really exhausted. And I feel great.
Right now you do.
Yeah,
But
right now.
12-hour days, man. I know that.
Tough.
I know that grind.
It's not fun. Not fun. But luckily they went by pretty quick. And looking back, I mean, in the moment they were just kind of tough, but looking
What
back,
do you do to get through a day like that?
I just try to stay busy. You know, I try not to like have any moments where I'm sitting around, because then I realize how tired I am and then how I don't want to keep going.
Yeah.
And that's how it is with a lot of stuff, like even working out. We're just talking about health. The second I like go home and sit on the couch, like I'm not going to do anything else. Like, you know, so you have to just immediately go home, change, and then go for a run. Or like,
Yep. The moment I look at my phone and it's so tempting, and then like, I'm just going to sit down.
yeah, and then it's gone. The moment's gone. Yeah. I got to keep that ball rolling. You know, you can't stop. So that's what I try to do in longer days.
But what if like you have to see, here's the thing. I might need some help with this, because right when I go back home after a day of work, immediately have to go to the bathroom. And what do you do when you go to the bathroom? You take your cell phone device.
Yeah.
And then 5 minutes becomes however long you want it to.
Yeah, however long you're there for. Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. I go back and forth with this too. Sometimes I would normally, especially when I'm home, and now I don't do it as much just because we don't have a home. But prior, Claire and I both, we went through this phase where we would put it in like a little mailbox. So we had a little bin on our kitchen counter. And whenever we'd go home, we would just put our phones in the box. We'd turn up the sound in case someone calls us or texts us.
Okay.
Then we would just put it there. And then the whole rest of the evening, we would be together and we just focus.
Be without the phone. Okay.
Yeah, we just be without it. But then also I would put some reading material in the bathroom. And that's kind of something I really liked, is that, oh, sure, I'm still spending the same amount of time, but, and that's a big but. Now I'm reading.
Sitting on the butt.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant. Those gears are turning. And then I would read, 40 pages of whatever book I wanted to read. Or
on the toilet?
Yeah, on the can.
Wouldn't your legs like give out?
Well, I move them. Keep the blood flowing. I do some squats.
I guess.
No, I'm kidding. No, I'm not there long enough though.
Have you ever read anything in like the bathtub?
The bathtub. Well, we didn't have a bathtub. Growing up, I did, but I would do it very rarely. Because I didn't take a lot. I took a lot of baths during the football season, but I would just like sit in there. I wouldn't really read anything. I might have done it like once or twice when I was like into a book. I remember in middle school and high school, I was really into these Lemony Snicket's books. Do you remember those?
Yeah. Fortune Events.
I would read those, and I think I vaguely remember reading one in a bath. But I was so nervous of dropping it,
You're so nervous. No, I'm talking about an empty bathtub.
Oh, an empty bathtub?
Yeah. You never done that?
Oh, I just outed myself as a bath taker. No. Joe, you lured me in.
I thought we were on the same wavelength. I thought
No,
we knew what we were
no, we weren't at all. Like the cold bathtub? You mean just like going in there just to relax?
Yeah. You got like a nice like sweatshirt on. It's not that cold once you lay down on it.
Yeah, I can't say I've ever done that.
You should try it.
I should. In our next home, I think. Yeah, we have a bath in our next home. Okay.
Moving on to my crappy.
This is going great.
Got some catchphrases, got a landscaping escape room business, and we got the next best thing, even better than the escape room business, lawnscaping, babyscaping, sitting in a bathtub, empty bathtub,
Love it.
to read.
And also with me next to you, like those Cialis commercials, but I'm actually in water though.
What happens in the Cialis commercials?
Never mind. Let's skip that one.
Is the Cialis commercial like a couple like
yeah, like two couples
they're
in
on
bathtubs.
one side? Who does that?
I don't know. Who's got like twin bathtubs?
Who has? Oh wait, they were twin. I thought they were sharing the same one. That would have been like
No. Yeah. Yeah, there's two bathtubs and they're both in it and they're holding hands, like looking out at like a view of
what an
mountains.
awful architecture design.
I don't know who the heck would do that.
It was the 70s, you know.
Hey,
I wasn't thinking.
all that drug use. No.
All that cocaine.
Ooh. All right.
Every time I think of the 70s, I think of Forrest Gump and Jenny, because there's always Jenny, because there's this Family Guy episode, this Family Guy cutaway, where of course she's made out to be the villain of Forrest Gump, which people have argued. You know, she avoids being with Forrest Gump to go. She's like, I know you went all this way to come to me to New York or Washington, D.C., but I'm going to go do blow with all of these Black Panthers I met yesterday.
Yeah, the Black Panthers. Yeah. As soon as I saw that scene, I was like, what?
Okay, Jenny.
Yeah.
I'll raise the AIDS, baby. I was like, that's awful.
Yeah, gosh. That's something else. The first time I saw that, it was
Forrest Gump?
Yeah, it was on our honeymoon. It was 4 years ago, and so this August.
Oh man, I just ruined it for you.
No, I've seen it. I've seen it.
Okay.
Yeah, I said that's the first time I saw it. Was
okay.
Yeah, I love it. It's good. All right, so what's your crappy, Joe? That was a big tangent.
Oh no, should I keep that?
Yeah.
My crappy.
This is gold, Joe. This is all gold.
Well, maybe the bathtub was a little bit more bronze, if we're categorizing it. Okay, my crappy. So I was telling you about going to travel in the Northeast for friends from college.
Uh-huh.
But my crappy involves that. I went to go get my oil changed around like 3-ish. It was a weekday, and around that time, I did not think rush hour was happening. I did not think. When I went to go get my oil change, usually at this location that I go to, it only takes about 10 minutes. You don't even have to get out of your car. That was even pre-COVID.
Wow.
But there were 7 cars.
Whoa.
And I'm like, I wanted to get my oil change. I said, like, they won't take that long. An hour passes by. I finally get out of there. And now it's like 4-ish. And I know it's going to be a late night. But I pressed on to go meet those girlfriends at, trivia night that we were going to. And I made it. But there were just, I was getting that oil changed, and then I had to go to the bathroom, but I held it in the entire ride. It was awful.
No.
But then 20 minutes into the ride, after the oil change, I'm like, this is great. But then it all came to a head when this huge traffic jam. I was looking at the GPS. It went for 20 miles.
Oh, yikes.
20 miles. I lost about 30 minutes of this trip. I eventually got it back because wink, wink. I had some help with my vehicle. But through this traffic, coming towards the end of it, I was seeing the end of it, but I couldn't see I could on the GPS, but I couldn't see the end of it in my vision because why? There was a tunnel, and I was like, did this accident happen in the tunnel?
Did it?
I don't know because apparently when I was approaching the tunnel, everything sped up. And
Wow. Yeah,
I have
so
no
maybe it
I
all got cleared out before
in the
by
tunnel.
the time you got there.
It was amazing.
Wow.
But like I suppose I have that to thank for. It could have been so much worse. But yeah, it set me back and gave me some added stress where I didn't want it. But I suppose I should count myself lucky because you know, it was a pretty stressful trip, except for like the last like 20 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
I was hoping to avoid tolls, but then a toll just randomly came up in the last like 20 minutes.
Yeah, that'll happen. My worst traffic I've ever had was actually on the way to Chris and Ronnie's wedding. They
Oh yeah,
on the way there, yeah,
I remember you had said that.
a tractor trailer it was one of the gas trucks that massive, huge semis. It like hit something or like one of the tires went out, so it curved and it flipped and it rolled over and it blocked the entire freeway, and it was on fire. And it caught on fire, and I was stuck there for an hour and a half.
You couldn't go anywhere.
I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't go anywhere because like the next exit was like.
Had you known about that, you would have taken the exit within a heartbeat.
Definitely I would have. Yeah, but that was not fun. That was the worst I've ever had. But
did you see impact?
What do you mean?
Did you see that flip over?
No. I saw the remains. Of like the skeleton of the truck was on the side of the road.
I thought you were about to say the skeleton of the driver.
No. Yeah, like Star Wars. No. The
like Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen.
That song though that plays during that part, beautiful. But yeah, it was like the whole truck was burnt and just completely. There's just like metal framing. It was crazy. Man. Yeah. So that's happy crappy.
That is a crappy.
It's time for the news.
So we're going to talk about fentanyl today. This is a very serious subject. So I remember years and years ago hearing about the opioid crisis affecting the United States because it's a relatively new thing in the past 25 years. You know?
Yeah.
But in the West, there's a rapid increase in overdose deaths in the Western United States, particularly Seattle, for example. There's OD deaths involving fentanyl up to 57% just in the last year. Las Vegas, 162% raised. LA County, I believe, 26% jump among the homeless population just in the first 7 months of 2020. So clearly there's been an uptick ever since this has been introduced, but this is even more exacerbated by the pandemic. But what do you think about that? Again, your initial thoughts.
It's crazy. I mean, I believe it because there's a big aspect of, isolation and the stress that has kind of come from COVID and people losing their jobs. And like, I can think of individuals that have lost everything, that they're now on the street. And it's a shame, but a lot of people do turn to substances. And I know like fentanyl has definitely been one that's been growing, since the first time I heard about it, which was probably like 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah. And it only came up to the San Francisco Bay Area 2015. Wow.
I think it was more prominent on the East Coast here, like first.
Yeah.
And especially kind of moving a little more inland in Ohio. Like Ohio has a severe opioid problem.
And the Rust Belt. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame.
About 708 people, when collecting all this data, going back to San Francisco, 708 people died of drug overdoses just in 2020, which is from the previous year, 2019, 61% increase. But in that same city, take a guess how many people died from COVID?
I mean,
254. So 708 people with drug overdose, 254 from COVID.
wow.
And just in these first 2 months of 2020, January, February, 135 dead. What's coming up in their predictions, health experts, they're saying that it's going to be more than 800. So 708 last year, more than 800 by the end of this year.
Yeah, it's just gonna keep skyrocketing.
Because
Yeah.
in California, these lockdowns have continued and they've been the most strict. So
Right. Yeah, that's nuts, man. It's nuts, and you see it, like, and you think about isolation. You think about how these people feel, the communities that are kind of formed based on, um, you know, homeless individuals kind of gathering together, and if they're all kind of struggling with this one thing, then it's going to keep happening. And I know that the fear with fentanyl is it's so strong, like it's so
yeah.
much stronger than something like heroin. Like, it's supposed to be kind of like similar to heroin, one of those
And we all
synthetic
know how
opioids.
strong that can be,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
from what 50 times more potent than heroin.
How many more times?
50 times.
50 times. Wow. Yeah. So, well, that's what happens, right? Because people think, oh, I'm going to use the same amount that I would normally would with heroin.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden they find they overdose because of
They, on small amounts. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But even now, fentanyl is mixed with heroin on the street. Now, looking at where it's made, I believe because it's a mixture of places. It's made through the Mexican cartels using chemicals from China. But then it was pushed in the West through these pain pills, through these phony pain pills like Vicodin. So,
Oh, wow. So they're kind of marketed as that, and then but really they'd be selling fentanyl.
but really, like it's this synthetic, this synthetic crap. But yeah, it's exactly how like that time when, like you mentioned, New England and the Rust Belt was seen roughly a decade ago when we first started hearing about it, and then pushed in the West in 2015. That's when it was introduced to San Francisco, and then widely available in those city streets 2018. So it's not old.
Yeah. I guess it's not.
No.
Yeah, I remember the first time I heard about it was in my high school health class. We like discussed drugs and all that, and someone introduced, well, the teacher brought up, well, there's this new thing that's kind of taking people by storm, and you got to watch out for this and blah blah. And it's nuts. It's crazy.
I
I think about.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
No, I learned about it myself in assemblies in school.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, we're kind of that generation of like the dares and the the don't do drugs and all these ads and stuff were very popular in our childhood. So it's kind of interesting to see the differences, and like I wonder like how our generation was impacted by drug use. Like if the percentages are like we use it less than say others, or
That would be really interesting to know. I'm glad that you brought that up. I don't have anything, but I'd like to take a look at that in the near future.
you need to see the impacts of all those programs.
Mm-hmm.
So I still remember as like I was like in elementary school, probably like, I don't know, fourth or fifth grade, like having to hear one of these things that's just talking about what they are, and you need to avoid these things, and like just not even knowing or understanding what it is,
Yep. But I would often hear just through word of mouth, like in a study hall or something like that in high school, just because kids are bored, I guess. When you overhear like friends talking, they would say stuff like, yeah, that person uses that stuff. That person uses that stuff. So it really wouldn't surprise me if the numbers did not go down, even despite these programs that came in our assemblies.
I guess it always depends on location too, because my high school was kind of more on the poor side and had a really serious heroin problem. Like a lot of even just high schoolers that I knew, like it's a shame to say, but a lot of them did OD on heroin just from just because if they were introduced to it at a young age and kept using it, and it
Yeah.
happened.
Now, looking at this increase, we talked a little bit just blanket pandemic,
Mm.
but why this increase now, though? What are the underlying reasons?
Well, I think isolation, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think just the kind of like what I was saying before, just with the stress and the anxiety and all the stuff that's happening, people are just turning to drugs, and there's a lot more people unemployed, and
Mm-hmm.
and that it's a lot on individual.
Yeah, the stress, job loss, quarantining, and being alone.
Hmm.
Also, adding on to that, people that were homeless already, homeless shelters would be closed for risk of this virus. So
That's true.
if people OD'd, nobody would be there to help them. Um, you know,
Wow,
you
that's awful.
you close these places to reduce the risk of COVID. You isolate, but this puts people at highest risk of OD deaths.
Yeah, it's true because no one knows when they're overdosing, and then
Mm-hmm.
can't give them the stuff they need because they have to avoid them.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's awful.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't even imagine.
Yeah. Well, we talked a little bit about it being through use of pain pills prescribed by doctors.
Mhm.
Are there any other ways that it can be administered?
I know people can smoke it. They
Okay.
can they do it that way, and people they say you can inject it, but I think they said that they don't like to do that because of how strong that it is. So they think when you smoke it, it kind of loses the potency. Well, I'm not sure if it actually does or not when they do that, but
Right. I know people that are pharmacists, and they're kind of moving away from injection because
mm,
they think it lowers the risk of OD, which this is what I've heard as well. But there's a decrease in demand for needles,
mm,
um, and they've moved to like these people are buying aluminum foil to
mm,
smoke out of. So there's a number of ODs happening because people don't know that they are actually using fentanyl, going back
mm,
to uh, these pills.
right,
Yeah,
yeah.
but looking at like why it's persisted even before the pandemic is also the underlying question too. Like, how has it actually been addressed?
Gosh, I don't know. I don't
Uh,
know. The people don't even realize that they're taking it most of the time,
yeah,
So it's a tough world.
I think because it is so widespread. Just talking specifically in the West. Um, like when one policeman reports one arrest, it seems like there's another dealer there
Mm,
um, on the same street corner the very next day, a new person. Um, the district attorney, from what I read, she said, as long as people, I'm paraphrasing, as long as people are addicted and are willing to destroy themselves, destroy their bodies, law enforcement can't really solve this problem. So even then, having a district attorney be so demoralized to say that out in the open makes it as much of a serious problem as ever.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
And I think that's just the nature of a lot of problems too, I think if ultimately if we go down to the root of the problem for the majority of the problems that exist,
mm-hmm.
it's always just going to be the brokenness of humanity,
Yeah.
and the problems with addiction, the problems with our mental capacities, our the issues, the deepest longings and the voids within us that we
Mm-hmm.
try to fill it with other things. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a shame. Yeah, it's a shame. And that's the problem with addiction is like a lot of people just either A, don't have the funds to get help, or B, don't realize they need the help.
Yeah.
um and it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to realize that like people, when they need it the most, they tend
They're
not
treated
to,
more as criminals rather than, you know, people that need that help.
that need help, that need
Mhm.
assistance, like like anyone. Like I remember, encountering homeless people when I took a trip to Boston once, and just my heart was broken for these individuals that like they just were down on their luck. Like I remember I was with a group and they were bashing this one guy, and he was just on the street, like just like making fun of them as they were walking by. And I like was so moved to like talk to this person. I said like,
Yeah.
hey man, like I'm so sorry that this happened to you, that my friends are like, all these jerks just did this thing. And he was just like, you know what, it's fine, whatever. This is just kind of a normal thing for me, and blah blah. And then I started like having a conversation with him. I said, well,
Hmm.
what's going on, man? Like, why are you here? He was just saying like, you know what, I'm just really down on my luck. My lady hates me and she left because of these problems that I have. And I was like, ah, bro, I'm so sorry. And then I gave him some money to whatever, but
Hmm.
and then I just kind of went on with my day. But like that's the thing, is we don't see them as people oftentimes, and
Yeah.
it's such a shame, because we do that. We assume, well, they're drug addicted, therefore they don't deserve
Yeah.
anything,
Why give them the money? Because what could it be used for? Which is a legitimate
right?
argument,
And not just
but
even money, but just like help or
give
like
them food,
food.
give them some type of direction, place to go to. Oh, this place is open. Let me take you there.
Like, let me help you. Like, what can I do besides just give you money? Or like, let's just talk. Like, and no, you shouldn't do that with everybody, because some people like actually have like legitimate mental illness and can
Yeah.
be violent or harm.
Oh yeah.
But like just a regular Joe Schmo who's just down on his luck, like,
Hmm.
just you got to see them as people and try to encourage them to seek help. And yeah, it's tough.
I it's interesting that you said that. Like we just gotta treat them as if they're not criminals. Maybe more so the dealers. I read a study one time. Since these district attorneys seem to be so demoralized that they don't really know what interventions will work.
Mhm.
I might have one. Um, you know, what we should do is look at Portugal, because they had an opioid crisis starting at the same time as we did.
Mhm.
Similar problem in the 90s. Back in the day, Lisbon was, the heroin capital of Europe. But in 2001, they turned all that stuff around. The dealer would still go to jail naturally because they knew what they were doing, most likely, hopefully not getting high on their own supply, but the dealer would still go to jail. Instead of facing prison time, these people who are taking the drugs, instead of facing prison time and criminal records, they would go to this commission, this panel, 3-person panel. You'd have a lawyer, hopefully there, a social worker, a psychologist, or a physician. Just somebody also with drug expertise. They look over the person's addicted and is needing that help, and they suggest treatment. The non-addicted people, they would only get a warning or a fine. But the commission would suspend this fine or this warning, for about 6 months while the person goes to like some type of intervention or info session, something to attend. And if the person doesn't appear before the commission in 6 months, doesn't need to be, the case is closed.
Well,
So I suppose treating it right now, I mean, they say it's a public health crisis, but actually acting on that in the United States, treating it like it's an actual public health
mhm.
crisis, um, instead of a criminal, uh,
Yeah, yeah. I guess the way that we're labeling it and how you respond to it in those ways, that's the big thing.
yeah. But making making people hide, and making them think that they are criminals is only going to let the problem persist a little bit longer, I suppose. So I suppose that could be a step in the right direction. It seems to be. Their numbers went down quite a lot,
Yeah, yeah.
since 2001.
So who knows? I guess we'll see what the future will hold, but hopefully people start realizing that this is still a big issue, and it's
Yeah.
something that hopefully people take seriously.
Hmm.
And
That's good
uh,
for the adults, the people's actually using these drugs. But I still like the idea. I think I'm hopeful that programs like Dare actually did do some good, because it all starts when you're young. It starts with the family. Hope, judging you have a good family.
yeah, I mean everything. That's where that's where everything begins.
Mhm.
If you have a messed up family, the chances are you're going to be struggling, and it's a shame. But that is a reality.
The future is inevitable, but let's travel back in time.
So April 21st, so today, the day that this is dropping, 753 BC, a long time ago. I don't know, 2,700 years ago. Romulus and Remus, two different people,
Two brothers.
founded Rome.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That age-old myth that
Exactly.
they were raised by a she-wolf, and then were raised up. When I had learned about that, I had called out who I had to call out. I don't actually think. I mean, I think it was founded in 753 BC,
Yeah, I
but
don't know about this. That's a
the
piece of that
historical
story
accuracy,
being
I think it
actually
was
true.
founded by Etruscan kings, to my knowledge, which makes a little bit more sense. Like it wouldn't be founded just by two twin boys. And then Remus was killed by Romulus, hence the name Rome.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's crazy. Raised by a she wolf. That wolf would
Cute story.
the best self control.
Good one, Joe.
All right, I got you one.
All right, that's what I had. Yep.
April 21st, 1509. With the death of Henry VII, his eldest surviving son, Henry VIII assumed the British throne. So a little bit about Henry VIII. This is 1509 when he assumed the throne. He, do you want to know how many wives he actually had?
He had a
Take a
lot of
guess.
wives.
Yeah, he did have a lot of
I'm
wives.
gonna say 6.
Boom, got him.
Is that right?
Yeah, you actually got it. Yeah, 6.
Oh wow.
So out of the people that I wrote a couple notes for myself, Catherine, one of the Catherines, was beheaded.
Beheaded.
Anne Boleyn also was killed, right?
Yeah, I think she was. Yeah.
First wife was Catherine of Aragon. I think he married her for over 20 years or so.
Mm.
You also had Jane Seymour. She gave birth to, and this is the male heir, the last wife. And this is the one that supposedly Henry VIII loved the most, whether it be because of giving birth to that son, which he did have that goal, but he loved her so much that she was buried next to him.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And she died less than 2 weeks later after delivering that baby.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but how many marriages do you think he actually got annulled out of the 6? Not counting the deaths, maybe
Gosh, I don't know. How many?
3.
3 of them? Wow.
Three were annulled. And then one of his most famous wives, Anne Boleyn, she was actually pregnant
Oh wow.
before marrying him. So about 6 months pregnant upon marriage.
Okay. The was she the one? Was she poisoned? I want to say, wasn't one of them poisoned?
Was
Or
she
is that, am I thinking something else?
It's blanking on me how she actually did die. Let me take a look.
Yeah, it either was that or she was also beheaded. I forget.
Something tells me she was beheaded, but I'm gonna look at it right now.
I thought one of them was poisoned, but I could be wrong. He was a monster. He was such a bad guy.
He wasn't also like, if I'm taking a look at the show The Tudors, right, date of death, place of death, the Tower of London. Where is the lost her head?
Oh, yeah.
In the words of Creed, decapitated, whole big thing. We had a funeral for a bird.
Yeah.
You're not real, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure none of that's real.
You're not real, man.
You're not real, man. Apparently, that is his favorite. So John Krasinski, that was his favorite like line ever. Apparently, when they were making that, filming that, he could not get through that line. He kept laughing every time. He would be like, "You're not real, man." He would laugh every time.
Oh man, it's my favorite. One of my favorites too.
It's a good one, yeah.
Creed is in charge of something. That is correct.
Quabity Ashwitz.
Why is there
qua?
Bo Body? Bo Body. What does the first B in Bo Body stand for?
Business.
I like it.
We could just do this for the next hour. All right, cool. So is that all you had to say about Henry VIII?
Oh, that's all I had to say for Henry VIII.
All right, and then the last one we actually both got, which is pretty cool. So yeah.
So I'm blanking on it.
April 21st, 2016. A legend died. A great guitarist, great singer, great musician,
Singer-songwriter, innovator.
Singer-songwriter, innovator, changed music. Prince.
Yeah, and to tie it all back with news, he died from accidental overdose on fentanyl.
Really?
Yep. Yep.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that. I thought it was I knew it was an overdose, but I didn't know it was fentanyl.
Yeah.
Yikes.
It wasn't known that that was the case. He was only 57 when he died in Minnesota.
Hmm.
That is,
Well,
and the guy looked great, like face wise, like he was always a lanky guy.
hmm.
But you would never have known. The reason that he took the fentanyl, do you know why?
Nope.
He had like some chronic hip pain, like all those
Uh,
live performances. I'm sure it could do a lot to a person.
mhm.
Um, but he had various types of prescription drugs at his, like hundreds of types, to my knowledge, at his home. But he
Yeah, he
thought he
was
he
definitely a
he thought he was
regular
taking
user.
he thought he was taking Vicodin, but he was taking counterfeit Vicodin, pills laced with fentanyl,
Oh, that's so
prescribed by
crazy.
his prescribed by the doctor.
I didn't even know that. And that's
Yeah,
what we were just talking about. That's
yeah,
insane.
yeah.
Wow, wow, wow.
How it all comes together.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, again, he was a legend, incredible musician. I remember seeing him, the Super Bowl that he played. He showed up and did that guitar solo for it. It was awesome. It was one of
Purple
the best
Rain
ones.
in the Rain.
That's right. That's
I've
right.
never actually seen the movie Purple Rain except for the ending performance.
Yeah, same here. Same
Is it
here.
is it is it like a boring movie?
I think so. Yeah, I've never really been interested in watching it, but um,
We'll
yeah.
do
Did
we'll
you?
do one day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Have you seen him do? Gosh, which one was it? It was somebody was getting inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They did the. Was it George Harrison?
It
Harrison
was
when
it
he
was
was.
a, it was a 2004 George Harrison concert. I think it was just in honor of him. I don't know if it was. It could have been, but he did "While
They
My Guitar
did
Gently Weeps."
that solo there. Oh,
It was a great solo.
great solo. Really was.
I'm still a fan of the original, but I have to give props to the man who did that. They're like doing a cover is such a hard thing.
Hmm.
Um, Clapton, of course, did the original.
Right.
Prince did that version in 2004. Peter Frampton does a really good one.
Hmm.
Um, Cross the Universe movie wasn't bad, but
Hmm.
it's hard to do a cover version. And the man was an innovator, and even before his covers, he did such a mix of funk and soul in the middle of rock and roll. Yeah, and it was only natural that his family like wanted this investigation, to investigate like the doctor, but there was no evidence of like intentional wrongdoing. So that's good. It's just a victim of circumstance, which is ultimately
Yeah,
even bigger tragedy.
it's a shame. Yep, definitely. Okay, so I hope he's chilling with the angels, shredding away on that guitar.
Entertainment. Where's the entertainment, guys?
We are going to talk about one of the greatest comedies in
Oh,
all time, the original 1997 Austin Powers International Man of Mystery.
how about how about that? Crazy. Yeah, like I said last week, I watched it for the first time. Now, my
Uh,
whole life, I'd heard about it, people making references to it, and I would steal those references, even though I had no idea what they were from. I still knew what the references were. But my parents, they had all three of the movies, but I never watched them. They never let me watch them with them. Um, so I loved it. It was so good.
you watched them back to back to back, right?
I did. I did. Yeah,
We're
which
only
is
talking about the
probably
first one, people.
yeah. We're just
Eventually,
talking about the first one.
if you like it, we'll move on. But to another one.
Yeah, we'll see. But I loved it. It was my first impression. Awesome.
It's so well written. I would have to say the first one is the best written. Second one is the funniest. Third one is the worst.
Yeah, I didn't like the third one as
Yeah.
much. That's kind of where like like all the jokes are pretty cheap and it's a lot
Hmm.
more crude. Like it's very crude and
Hmm.
whatever. But
Yeah. That movie, the first one, 97, it came from, of course, Mike Myers. He wrote it in about 2 weeks. The first
really?
draft, the first draft,
Oh, the first draft. Okay.
and the director, Mr. Jay Roach,
Mhm.
he gave him like 10 pages of notes saying like you should change this and this and this. And Myers said it ultimately made the movie better.
Nice.
Um, but that movie, even if it's one of my favorites, people just didn't get it at first. It wasn't really a huge box office success,
Mm. Really?
grossing like around a little over 60 million
Oh
worldwide.
wow. I would have thought more than that.
Yeah, it came to be like, $1 million more. It's interesting, for The Spy Who Shagged Me and Gold. It was like $1 million more than 67, like 68 million, basically the first opening weekend, just from the opening weekend. So there's a lot more money for those for those
The
sequels.
other ones, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. Because I feel like that, like whenever I think Mike Myers, that's like the character I think of, you know.
Not Shrek, really?
Yeah, no, I wasn't one of those kids that grew up watching Shrek. I kind of avoided that. But yeah, I always think Austin Powers, and I like, I haven't didn't even see the movie, but like that was in my mind. Like I just, but I still see it in the character movie. I was that or like Wayne's World, like those two.
I never actually watched Wayne's World. Never have.
Wow, have you at least seen them on SNL? Like seen those
Okay,
kids on
yes,
SNL?
yes, I have, and those stupid Grubhub commercials or whatever the heck they do
Oh yeah, it's dumb. Yeah,
with Cardi B. Ugh.
right.
But Mike Myers passed on doing Wayne's World 3 in order to do Austin Powers.
Oh wow, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
So it's only a wonder how it could go, because I heard that Wayne's World 1 and 2 were good.
Mhm. Yeah, they were. I saw. I'm pretty sure I've seen both of them, and I like the first one much better. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's good.
Who's your favorite character of Austin Powers?
I don't know. What's yours?
It would probably have to be Dr. Evil.
Yeah, that's the first thing that popped in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably Doctor Evil.
For some strange reason, I had a conversation with my sister before talking with you about this. Her favorite is Scott Evil, Seth Green. I'm like, you had like 3 scenes in the movie.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of him.
Did
I
you
get it
know?
though.
Did you know that Jim Carrey was originally going to play Dr. Evil but passed on it?
Wow.
Yeah, he went to go on to do Liar Liar, which was a big box office
Which is a big
smash.
hit.
So it worked out for him.
Mhm.
But do you think it would have worked with him as Dr. Evil?
Gosh, I don't know, because it would have been so different. Because Jim Carrey is like his acting is so physical,
Yep.
and like Doctor Evil was not that at all. So that would
No,
have been very different.
it's based on the script,
Yeah.
and just the writing and comedic timing. And I suppose that having both Mike Myers in both roles helped that.
Yeah, I think so.
And
Yeah, because it was like this good juxtaposition because you had this, you knew it was the same actor, but like to see how different they were was like perfect. You know.
And I wonder also, how good is Jim Carrey at improvising? Because even if like he's good as a comedian, and he's in more serious roles too, I read that 30 to 40% of this movie was improvised.
Really?
Like the shh scene, I have a whole bag of shh with your name on, completely improvised,
That's great.
which is an
Yeah,
awesome scene.
right. The only like improv I can think Jim Carrey doing was in Dumb and Dumber when he did like the want to hear the most annoying sound in the world when they're in the car and then he like screams.
Maybe it wouldn't have worked, but we'll never know.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I wouldn't imagine.
Another good scene from that movie is the nude blocking scene.
Oh
The
yeah,
one where like you're covering all of those parts brilliantly,
yeah.
for that PG-13 rating. Like the milk cups and the melons covering, and like the eating the sausage.
Yeah.
That scene I read took about 25 takes,
Oh, I bet
like
it
because
did.
it's all continuous, which took like a whole day for shooting.
Yeah, well, just because it's just lining up, the whole perspective shift. I'm sure that was difficult to do.
I wonder if like they lined it like using 2 different takes, but like because they're standing in the same positions.
Could
Who
be.
knows?
Could be.
Yeah.
Okay.
I recognize a couple Family Guy actors. Seth Green, of course. Carrie Fisher. Yeah. What's your favorite line from the movie?
Oh, behave. I just love how often he said that.
When he first says that in the car.
Yeah. It's just like, oh, yeah, okay. That's a good one.
That is a good scene.
Yeah, baby. I mean, there's so many good lines.
Yeah.
There really are.
I like just some of the scene with Dr. Evil wearing the plastic suit and it never quite like fits right.
Yeah.
And then he like falls off the chair.
Yeah, it's a really good scene.
And then it's either between that or when Carrie Fisher makes her cameo as like the group therapist.
I was so shocked. I was like, whoa, who's this? Look at
Yeah,
that.
and Scott's like just complaining about his father, and Dr. Evil says, but Scott, who's going to take over the world when I die? And then Carrie Fisher interjects, listen to those words. Who's going to take over the world when I die? Feels like that to some of us sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah, and they're just like,
totally glosses over like, yeah, he's evil mastermind. He's going to take over the world when he dies.
yeah, and I love the end when he's like, no, he's like actually trying to kill me.
No, the boy really is quite astute. I am really trying to kill, but he's quite savvy like his old man.
This line's just so good. Yeah.
So
The
great
writing
timing.
is just awesome. Yeah.
Nothing quite like it. I mean, there's you don't have any good comedies anymore. It's yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of things have just kind of shifted hardcore. Well, it's just got to be like dirty and like really kind of just vile stuff. And there's like some level of crudeness.
This has some of that in here.
But like it was classy and it was well done. Like it wasn't like in your face, like you need to laugh at this because of how uncomfortable you feel. It was like, well,
and you have character development, which you don't often see. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, and I feel like you just even looking at between the first and the third, it's so clear because then that third movie, just Goldmember, just the whole thing is like that's kind of the focus is like turning into more of like a dirtier humor because that's like the cultural shift I feel like in like comedy at the time. It kind of like began a little bit with the first one, but then by the third it was like, okay, we're doing this whole new thing, this whole new world of comedy. Yeah.
It's a shame, but hopefully it kind of circles back to, bare bones comedy.
You know what? I've discovered a new guy that I really like.
Who?
Nate Bargatze, I think
Never heard of him.
How you pronounce it. So he's clean, completely clean. And he's just a storyteller. He just tells stories and they're always really funny. So I recommend him. He's on Netflix. And
I'll take a look after this.
You've got questions. You're feeling grounded.
Coming from James, he says, what is your guys' fourth favorite color?
Fourth favorite color. Wow.
I'm gonna write this down right now because this is gonna be a big one.
I gotta think about this.
Okay.
I'm doing the same.
James, thank you. So this is important stuff.
All right, James, you're a legend. Thank you for doing that.
Okay.
I appreciate you. Was this on YouTube or is it on Instagram?
Yep, it's on Instagram.
Okay.
I think
fourth favorite color. All right, I'm ready.
Okay, I'm almost there. Oh, I got it.
All right, do you want to go first or do you want me to go?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so I would say red.
Is your fourth favorite? Okay.
My fourth favorite because I really love green. I really like purple, like a deep purple. It's like one of my favorites. Like I like go between those two colors. It's like my favorite. Nice. And then your typical blue, your nice blue, and then red. I think red, just like a nice deep red. Maybe even like a crimson. Like I love that color.
Crimson red. Speaking of red, have you ever seen Crimson Peak by Guillermo del Toro? Nope, neither have I. It made me think of Crimson Peak. Okay, my favorite color is plum purple.
Plum purple. Nice.
Plum purple.
That's kind of like the color. I like that purple.
Yeah, I think it's just a nice color to wear. For a tie, maybe not necessarily for a dress shirt, but I would wear that like for my tie, but my favorites go between, blue, seafoam green, forest green. I just love those. I love those. Nice. It reminds me of being outside. Maybe minus the seafoam green. You don't really see seafoam green, but maybe if the light hits you a certain way. But yeah, plum purple, because I like me a good plum.
I feel you.
I can feel. I'm thinking of you know what I'm thinking of, right?
Yeah, I do know. Yeah.
Eastbound and down. I can feel it down in my plum.
I can feel it down in my plums.
Farmers market. This is a plea to all you subscribers and also people watching us on Instagram. What we're gonna be doing next episodes every Wednesday. What we want you guys to do now is subscribe if you haven't already on YouTube. It helps with the algorithm. Like the video, hit that notification bell, and follow us on Instagram because we want to see you. We want to actually have a dialogue going with you guys. Any video that you guys have, we get them notifications. We'll let you guys questions, and then you guys can be addressed in the next following episode.
Yeah, we'll give you a shout out. Like my man James.
My man, James. All right. Thank you guys. And we appreciate you. And we can't wait to see you guys next Wednesday.
Here we go. You got questions?
You're feeling grounded. Ooh, we switched it.
Hey.